Welcome back to Imperial Order, everybody. I'm your host, Martino, and it's great to be back with Mr. Jose Espinel. Jose, what's going on, my guy?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here. We just finished filming Movie Mornings, and now we're here on Imperial Order, which, again, like we've said multiple times, I'll say it again, is my favorite podcast. Honestly, I love this, and I just love talking everything Star Wars, especially with Dom, because we're just two huge Star Wars fans. So
yeah,
I can't wait to get into it.
Absolutely, man. I agree. And guys, if you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends. Helps out tremendously. So thank you so much. And tell your friends that this is the official home for Star Wars content. They need to come here. So it would be much appreciated. But look, man, we do have not as many topics today, but some fun stuff to get into for sure. And you and I, man, we go off when it's Star Wars. We could fill a show, typically. 100%. So we'll see where this goes, dude. So
even if we don't have much, we can just talk and talk, because it's Star Wars, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I finally got to play Lego Star Wars. This guy, picked it up for the PS5, and man, I played it through in about a day and a half. I got through all 9 episodes, and so I'm gonna review it here, and I won't treat
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna talk just very openly about this game. I'm not gonna treat this like a movie review, where I'm like, no spoilers, because frankly, these are based on movies that are out there and have been out. So most of this, but there are some things about the game that you might not want to know. So if you guys really want to leave, I guess you can, but like for the most part, I'm just gonna really just talk openly about the game.
How many characters do you have unlocked? I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's a ton. And it's characters that you wouldn't expect that are playable in this game. So let me start there. So when you're thinking about like playable characters for the open world free roam and all that, which by the way is as expansive as, or more expansive than you would ever think it could be. There's so many places of the galaxy that you can explore, and it's genuinely an open world free roam game. You jump into free play and you can just roam around pretty much the entire galaxy. It's unbelievably cool.
That's sick.
Graphics are amazing. The performance mode on the PS5 and the 60 FPS is amazing. So if you got one of those next gen consoles, I mean, they're great. So that's one big up. The design of the game is incredible. And I gotta tell you, after playing so much Elden Ring, this has been such a palate cleanser, because this game, and I know it's getting criticized for this, it's incredibly easy, and that's okay.
Look, it's a Lego game. What do you expect?
And you know what? I had fun. I had so much fun with this game. It's fucking great, dude. So let me give away some of the highlights here too, because first of all, when I'm playing an Attack of the Clones, dude, and that Jedi fight at the end, it's so fun. That is one of the best parts of the story mode, dude, is the Jedi fight at the end of Attack of the Clones when you get there. So good. That was one of my favorite moments to do, just switching between all these different Jedi like Kit Fisto and Mace Windu and Ki-Adi-Mundi and Obi-Wan and Anakin, and just having those at your disposal to kind of play around with. It's so much fun. So I love that, dude. They did such a bang up job designing that part of the game. One of the downfalls, kind of going from there though, I would have to say, was definitely the Revenge of the Sith portion of the game was not as good as I think it could have been. There are definitely like parts of that, I just would have liked a little bit more, especially when you get down to the Anakin Obi-Wan fight. When I'm there, I just kind of want to go ham with the lightsabers, dude, and that's not really what that mission was. So the little bit of a disappointment on the Mustafar fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan and Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
So there was that. Phantom Menace though is really good as a game. Like the pod racing was awesome. I had fun with that.
I bet pod racing would be so much fun on that game.
Definitely one of the more challenging parts of the game though, because like you do have to win that race before you can pass on to the next part.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. So, but it is fun, man. It is fun. I did not mind having to do it a few times to get it. Didn't take me that long, but I did have to try it a few times. I didn't mind doing it because of the visuals and the graphics. They do let you do the pod race in first person, so you really feel like you're in there. It's really damn good. And the thing that I loved most about Phantom Menace is the tutorial, because that's the first part you play in the game, and they give you the tutorial, and there are tutorials that take way too fucking long sometimes.
Yeah, that is true.
And this tutorial I found to be a breeze, you know,
short, sweet, simple to the point.
Very easy tutorial, very easy kind of getting used to the idea of the game. And just, it does not take you long to get sucked right into this in Phantom Menace. And I just found myself in a place where it's like, I'm not going to stop playing this for a while, am I? And boy, was I right, because anytime my PS5 is on, that game's in there. It's loaded up, and I'm playing Lego Star Wars. Now,
so I can't wait to get my PC so I can just get all these games, man.
Yeah. Now here's going to be the stuff that people might not want to know, so you can like leave now if it's really that important to you. But let me just say this. So once you get around to New Hope, it's one of the best portions of the game. The original trilogy entirely is one of the best portions of the game. You get to New Hope in there, and it starts at the end of Rogue One, which I really dug. So it doesn't start with New Hope. You actually start at the end of Rogue One, and Vader's kind of like going around and you know, slicing people up and stuff. And I thought that was this is really sick turn. And it gives you this like little bit of in between where it connects Rogue One to New Hope even more. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, where you get to like watch that kind of go down, and you get to play as Princess Leia for a little while before even getting into the main New Hope story.
Nice.
New Hope was so good. The design of everything was just so movie accurate. It is through the entirety of the game. That's one thing I'll say. Like, the designs of everything is so movie accurate. It's scary how movie accurate they actually got a lot of these places and planets and things that you visit. I loved being in the Death Star in the beginning of the New Hope portion of it, though, as Leia. It was just so much fun to walk around in that area. And then again later on, even when I was playing as like Luke and Leia, when you get to swing across like the bridge part, things
sick.
like that. Being in the trash compactor in this game was even fun. It was almost suspenseful and thrilling to try to get this thing to stop. And man, this game is so immersive, and I was just so blown away. And then Empire Strikes Back, you start out with Han. Now I will say, when you get to Empire Strikes Back, it slows down the pace a little bit more than maybe I would have liked. Like, I did like being out on a Tauntaun as Han Solo looking for Luke Skywalker, but there were a couple there was one mission there that I just thought took maybe a little too long. But once you get past it and you get into the Battle of Hoth in Empire, dude, and you're flying Luke's, you know, thing there, it's so good, man. It's undeniably such a well-designed game. Battle of Hoth is obviously one of the highlights of this game. I loved being able to play through it, dude. Like, I was geeking out, man. I'm like, I'm in the Battle of Hoth, and you're firing the tow cables, and you get to put it around the fucking AT-ATs, and it's fun to do, man. It really is. And then when you get into Return of the Jedi, man, I even had so much fun there, dude, because like, you get to play as Luke on the fucking skiff and, you know, take people out one-on-one. You get to fight the Rancor in Return of the Jedi with the bone, and it's so good, dude. It's one of the best portions of the game, is the whole original trilogy aspect. And then I actually
remember that in the Complete Saga. That was fun too.
Yeah.
The whole Rancor fight.
Yeah.
With the bone and stuff. Yeah, that was really sick.
Yeah, that's right. And then they, you know, you get to do all that, and then the speeder bikes were just so good. It was so much fun to play on those things. To ride those speeder bikes, man. So happy about that. And so yeah, all that stuff, smooth sailing, getting to the end, finally fighting Vader, and then Luke and Vader, you and Luke, because it's always gonna tweak it a little bit, so there's always two players that are able to do it, you know. So it's actually like Luke and Vader both taking down the Emperor, but it was still fun, man. It added this whole other element to it that just made it so much more immersive that way, where you can switch between Luke and Vader to take down the Emperor at the end of Return of the Jedi, sick. And finally overthrow him. So that was really fun. Then you get into the sequels. Force Awakens was awesome. Like, pitch perfect, man. Like, it was so good. One of my favorite missions in Force Awakens, strangely, because it's definitely not, I don't feel this way about the movie necessarily, but in this game in particular, I liked the Rathars. This mission was so fun. Okay. They added like this, it was maybe like when you're playing it, like you might think like this is longer than I thought it would have been. Like this portion of the game is longer, but it really created a fun mission, and really cool dynamic to switch, because there's parts where you'll have Han and Chewie in one spot, and then you got to switch over to a different area with Rey and Finn, and you have to play as them to try to, and eventually, you know, you guys got to like work together to meet up in the middle somewhere so you guys can get on the Falcon and get away. I just had a lot of fun with the way that was designed, and just the whole entire Force Awakens was fun. It was cool to be on the Star Killer base at the end, fighting Kylo Ren as Rey and Finn. You get to do it as both, so I really like
Nice.
that. That was so good and just well designed, and I even like being Poe Dameron in the space battle there at the end. So that stuff was.
How was the Luke encounter with Kylo?
Well, get to that next, because Last Jedi is what we're going to get to next. So Last Jedi was where it started to get a little interesting to me, because there's a couple things they did here that I didn't necessarily mind. There's one thing about Last Jedi I have a big problem with in the game, and I'll get to that in a minute. And that's only because I'm such a fan of the movie, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. So in Last Jedi, this is interesting. It starts with the Canto Bight stuff mostly. So I found that to be very interesting. It doesn't really start with Luke and the saber. Well, you still start in the space battle. You play as Poe. You take down the Star Destroyers, and that's fun.
Right. Okay,
that's a blast. It was awesome being in that. But then it kind of goes straight and skips into Canto Bight. And I started to think about the movie, if it was structured that way, if people might have taken on to Canto Bight differently, because I know that's one of the big glaring problems. But for me, I loved being in Canto Bight. I still love that planet till this day. I think it's just so beautifully designed. And
100%.
And once I was playing in it, it just added this whole new level of beauty to me, like being in the planet. And
you're making me want to buy this game like tomorrow, bro.
It did though, dude. I just had this whole new appreciation.
Not for real. Like, I want to start playing this game already now.
Yeah, it's so big, Canto Bight, and there's so much. And walking around that casino was so fun, and I just had a good time with that, man. And then going in through the game was great. Octo is awesome. I loved following Luke around there as Rey, trying to get him to budge a little bit. Like, that was a big part of the game, but I loved how accurate they kept that to the movie. So I thought that was so cool, because you spend a lot of time on Octo trying to follow Luke around to get him to, come with you, just like the movie. And I really felt like I was Rey in that moment, trying to get him, because it is a kind of a slow burning thing. But then one of the missions I've actually gone back to play quite a bit, the throne room scene.
I was about to say, I bet that one's going to be one that...
Oh, does not disappoint.
I'd probably go back and play that like 6 times.
It is one of the most, in the entire saga of the game, aggressive missions that you'll play, because you can go ham on these guys.
God,
it's fun, dude. Oh yeah. But it's fun. It's fun, man.
Bet.
It's so aggressive, and I love the style, and you really do get to switch between Rey and Kylo in moments. And if you don't switch between them, this is interesting, because the game won't do this any other time, but if you don't switch between them here, they'll just switch it back for you sometimes. So between Rey and Kylo. And just Kylo's, the mechanics of just playing as Kylo Ren is great, dude. Like, the way he just swings the saber, it's so much fun. This is like really the first time in the entire game you get to play as Kylo. So it was just great. And once I started playing as him, I was like, oh shit, this is so cool, dude. Like, I love it. And yeah, just being in that room and yeah, that was so fun. But then let me get into this. So this is the most disappointing moment for the movie of the game. You spend a lot of time in space in this game, like in between missions, like, because they want to make you feel like when you're going to a different planet in the game that you're actually traveling through space.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, there's a space battle happening and you partake in it. And I'm okay with that. I actually have a blast with the space battles. I think the flying mechanics are a lot of fun in this game. And I love just taking place in the space battle that, really these characters would have no part of, but fuck it, because they're flying through space and they're there. You can actually take part and help the resistance win or the rebellion win or whoever's fighting in space at the time in the game. So I loved all that. But and I've already talked about how great the Battle of Hoth was. So you get around to the Battle of Crate, and was I so excited to get onto Crate finally. You get around to Crate. You can't take part in the Battle of Crate. You don't get to ride the ski speeders. And
what?
I think that is the most disappointing part of this game. I really wanted to take part in the Battle of Crate.
Why can't you
ride the ski speeders? I know.
No, that's dumb.
I was bummed, but
I'd be bummed too.
Yeah, they kind of reduced it to a cutscene, the ski speeder moments, and could have been a really good mission, but okay. So there was that. After that, it's fun again, because you immediately get to play as Luke against Kylo.
That's cool.
Force Ghost Luke. And now the one thing that I could see people complaining about the mission on, something I liked about it, is that you don't actually fight Kylo with the lightsaber. You just kind of dodge his shots at you because you're Force Ghost Luke. You know, you're not going to take part in the fight, so you don't get to do that. But you just get to dodge his shots. But I just thought the design of being on Crate was just beautiful, and I love that. Because they just made the exterior so movie accurate in all these planets. So love that. Oh, let me go back to Last Jedi, or to the middle of the game. I forgot to talk about this, because this is one of the coolest aspects of the whole fucking game too. The mirror part, where Rey sees multiple parts of herself, is the mirror.
Oh,
now this is going to take time for people to figure out. So if you're still listening, I'm going to give you a pro tip. So you're going to be wondering, because you're going to be stuck in this room, you're going to see Rey in the reflection. Because you are looking at Rey, multiple Reys in the mirror, it was very cool. You have to almost play the game backwards. So you have to look at the reflection and control them. Don't try to control Rey, because I could see where people would get stuck right here. Don't try to control the Rey in front of you. Look in the reflections and see how it's reflecting, and try to control those rays to get to your next objective.
Holy fuck.
It was a really smart move though, and it was cool to see. I just thought that was a brilliant move to make in the game. So I love that. That was kind of a mind fuck and a really cool thing. And then I think the most interesting part of the game though was Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Now, interesting in a couple different ways. Number one, I thought it was the most challenging part of the game. They definitely saved their hardest missions for last. I would say that. So let me start out with this. Going to Exegol in this game is awesome. I loved going out there as Kylo Ren, spiraling down on the thing. So cool, man. I loved being on Exegol. So they designed that incredibly well. So that was awesome.
Nice.
The part that got really interesting is the fact that throughout this entire game, there's not really, like, they stay pretty accurate to the movies. If anything, they cut things that were in the movies, you know. In Rise of Skywalker, there's some extra stuff that I wish was in the movie. Now, one of the things being that lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo here, there's more to that. The one on the water, and when you play it, whenever you do get around to playing it, you're going to be like, why wasn't this in the movie? And there's like multiple moments like that in Rise of Skywalker. They're very minuscule, but you kind of like wonder why that wasn't in the movie. Things like that. But anyway, so Exegol was great. I liked playing on Ajan Kloss's Rey. Had a blast with that. I only wish, the one thing that they took out that I wish they could have, I understand how this isn't like great, because I understand how this would have been harder to design in a game when Rey and Kylo Ren are fighting in the space, you know, in his in his room, in his throne room, in the ship, in the Star Destroyer. I could see how that's hard to design, because you constantly have to switch the environment behind you, and I could see how that would have been hard to design as a duel. They do reduce that to a cutscene. But when you get to the third act and you're playing, you're doing that water fight with Kylo Ren, it's amazing.
Oh.
And when you get to Exegol, it's great. Like, I loved actually riding the horses up on the Star Destroyer. Like, I thought that was actually awesome. Like, it was fun, and even being involved in the space battle and all the ships. And it's cool though, because once you finish the game, basically all the ships that showed up at the space battle, you can basically play as any of the iconic ones that showed up later on in the game in free.
Nice.
But it's cool, man. But yeah, the third act is epic, and I really just felt so accomplished once I finished this game. So yeah, that's Lego Star Wars. I mean, you know, the other things, like I said, the free roam, there's a lot of side missions, man, like so many that you can do. It would take you forever to actually get this game to 100%, to be honest, because there's so much you can do throughout the entire galaxy, and it's wild how expansive they made this thing, and it would take you forever to actually complete it. But I do enjoy kind of roaming around. Like I've been using Mando when I roam around, and it's cool because Mando, if you use him to roam around, he has Grogu with him in his little crib thing, and when you
Nice.
shoot at the crib closes. It's fun if you shoot at the crib because it just closes up like it would in the
Nice.
show. So I've been using Mando and Return of the Jedi era Luke to kind of roam around the whole galaxy, and I have them fly in the Millennium Falcon for whatever reason. But you could essentially like build your own team to like walk around the galaxy with. It's fun. And I love doing it, dude. I love doing it. You can replay any of the missions at ease that you want to go back and play again. If they were that much fun, you can do that. So yeah, dude, I had a blast. I had a blast with Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. I thought it was an immensely fun game. Like it's a fun time. It might be easy, but it's fun, man. It's fun. It's so much fun. It's like a palate cleanser after playing a very difficult game, like Elden Ring all the time. It was so nice to, and kind of refreshing to just play something that was made for your fun, and nothing else. So I had such a good time, dude. And if you're a Star Wars fan, pick it up. I'm telling you, you'll love the experience of it, of being in the movies. Because the design is just more accurate than it's ever been, in any game. And just, which is interesting because it's a Lego game. And obviously the characters are Legos and there's a lot of Lego-esque things, but the graphics are just unreal, and especially if you get it on like a newer console, like it's gonna look really good. And it's fun, man. It's fun. I love the game so much. I'm gonna keep playing it more. Oh yeah, but characters, like, wild, dude. Like, you can play as Snoke, you can play as Luke, you can play as anybody. You can play as Captain Kennedy, the random guy in the space battle in Last Jedi. Like, they have like random characters like that you could play as. It's wild. The one disappointment for me is Ahsoka's not in the game. Of all the characters they have, you can't play as Ahsoka. But there's supposed to be some new Mando DLC coming to the game at the end of the month, I think, and Ahsoka's going to be included in that. It just got announced.
Nice.
So we will get Ahsoka soon. So there's going to be DLCs later on down the line for it, and they should just kind of keep building on this, honestly, because I think it was such a big success for them. Honestly, I think that they did a great job. I'm hesitant to say it's the best Star Wars game I've ever played, but in some ways it was one of the most fun Star Wars games I've ever played, for sure. Because it really just definitely it brought nostalgia to me. It just made the entire saga just. It solidified the whole saga with the sequels included to me, like it just made it feel all connected now, and just kind of like it's done. This is the saga, like, and it just, I'm happy with it. I just feel content now with the saga. It really did make me think about, like, man, it's a beautiful thing that we have these 9 movies we can always kind of go back to, these 9 stories that people, told, and it's just this one big story, and at the end of the day. And it's like, I know people have criticisms on the movies, but I would actually recommend those people try this game, because I think it'll give them that feeling of these are also part of the story too. It makes, I did like that. Like, I know that people are going to bitch at me for this, but I do like that it makes the sequels feel welcome to it. It's not my favorite thing about the game. Obviously my favorite aspect of the game was the original trilogy, playing through that, and always will be.
Right.
But I do like that the sequels, they feel like they're welcome here. They're a welcome addition, and it really makes the sequels feel welcomed in this game. It doesn't feel like they get the same treatment as everything else. They don't treat the sequels any differently, and it's nice. And as any of the other ones, everything gets the same treatment here, and it's fun. By the way, there's one moment though. Let me tell you, I almost forgot about this. So I laughed so hard I had to pause the game on one part in this game, because Lego games, they always parody it to a degree. It's never exactly the movies, like they always poke fun at it to a degree. So the end, funniest part in the whole game, Rey is on the ground, after Palpatine takes her out, and she's on the ground like, be with me, and trying to hear the voices of the Jedi of the past. So you hear Obi-Wan, Rey, and then you hear like Ahsoka, Rey, you know what I mean? You hear all the voices, Rey, these are your final steps, Rey. And then Anakin, I don't like sand. And it was so unexpected that I had to pause the game. I was laughing so hard because I did not expect it. Yeah,
Of course they would do that.
I hope that clip's on YouTube somewhere so you can watch it, because, dude, yeah, what Anakin, I don't like sand. was like, brilliant. Thank you for doing that, Lego. That was awesome. Like, 'cause everything about that scene's accurate, and then randomly, I don't like sand. It was awesome. So I was thrilled with that. Yeah, anyway. Oh, yeah, obviously.
Oh my god, it is on YouTube.
Is it? Hold on.
Yeah.
Can I pull this up really quick? I'll pull this up so we can watch
go
it.
ahead.
Let's see.
I just type in I don't like sand.
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars.
I don't like
Skywalker
sand.
Saga.
Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Let's watch this together. This is really good. I wish I
Like
just
a
would have done
27
this in the first place.
27-second clip. Yeah, there you go. Oh, 10 seconds. Yeah, there you go.
24 seconds. Let's do this.
Yeah, there you go.
This will be more accurate.
Be with me.
Oop.
Be with me.
These are your final steps, Rey. Rise and take them.
I don't like sand. I agree. Now is not.
Is that not the most brilliant thing, though? Like, that is so brilliant that they did that.
I don't like sand.
I love it, dude. I love that they did that. Thank you, Lego. That was awesome. I don't like sand.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh man, yeah, no, it was good. I'm so happy they did that. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
so funny. And there's a lot of moments. Actually, I got to give it credit to the writers here, because they did poke fun at some things that just really got me laughing. Sometimes that one definitely the most, but there were a lot of things that got me laughing in this game. And yeah, it's weird. I found Jar Jar to be actually kind of awfully likable in this. I don't know if it's because they were like poking fun at him too, at the same time of making him a character. But yeah, no, it was good, and I really enjoyed it. So something else we got to talk about. There is this picture floating around that's been interesting.
Oh yeah.
And, some people say it's been debunked. I think like maybe somebody came out and said no, it's not real, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I hope it's real.
So what I think it is happening here, if I may. Now, if you guys look at the picture, I'm not going to show it on the screen because I don't want to get the mouse police after us. But if you guys look at the picture, you can find out it's an Ahsoka. It's a picture of Ahsoka and Darth Maul. Appears to be on a film set. Looks pretty real.
There's some
and
person dead next to them
on Tatooine. Now, one of the things that I was talking about, now it wouldn't make sense for Maul to be alive in the era of the Ahsoka series, because Ahsoka takes place after Return of the Jedi. Maul died in Rebels, in Star Wars Rebels, which is before New Hope. So, so it would not make sense at all for Maul to pop up in here. But
unless this is a flashback type shit, I don't know. Or
There
he's
you go.
coming to her, or
Well-
he's coming to her in like ghost form or some shit. I don't know.
that's the key. With the flashback. So the thing is I think I told you about this or sent it to you. We saw that thing of Ashley Eckstein on her Instagram, who played Ahsoka in the Clone Wars and Rebels,
Yeah.
in Ahsoka attire. And it looks like she's on a Tatooine type planet like this. So if they flash back to the Clone Wars, if this is, because you can't really see who it is, you just know it's Ahsoka. So if it's
Right.
Ashley Eckstein, well, then that makes sense. Because, see, to me, I think that this is going to be a flashback with Ashley Eckstein back to the Clone Wars and Maul. And you're not wrong, dude. This would be amazing if they can pull this off.
It'd be sick. It
I've
would be
always
amazing.
theorized that like Ahsoka's probably going to be like 9 episodes or so. I think it's going to be one of the longest shows they do, because I think they're going to really try to go big, especially building up the Thrawn thing and all that, to the point where I bet you they could spare an episode to do a flashback, like one big flashback.
I think
episode.
they could, especially if they do it right. I think they could.
Because it's going to be a big show anyway. There's a lot of story to cover. They have to go find Ezra, and then they have to build up Thrawn somehow in the show. That's what their plan is, to my knowledge. So, it's going to be a massive show anyway in terms of its length. So I think that if you spared an episode to go back to the Clone Wars, and we know that they're probably going to do that anyway since Hayden Christensen's confirmed for the show. So they're already going to go back to the Clone Wars. Why not do it with Maul? It makes sense. Maybe Ashley Eckstein's getting hunted down by Maul, and Anakin comes and saves her. Who knows? Maybe that's something that we just never saw in the Clone Wars series. That happened somewhere along the way. I think it makes sense. I can absolutely see this picture being real. The other option is this is a actual set photo and Maul got photoshopped into it. That's the other option I was thinking about, is maybe this is everything's real, but Maul could be photoshopped in. But
or this whole thing is fake.
it could be, but it's a pretty good fake, if you ask me. There's actual like
Apparently, I mean, I'm here on Twitter. This guy who says that apparently this picture originated on Reddit, with the user having ties to cosplay. Cameras in the image aren't the ones that use. Ahsoka doesn't film for a couple weeks. He says it's fake, but
he says so, but who knows?
who knows? Yeah.
I just say let's wait, because I think it's plausible. And even if the picture's fake, does that mean we're not getting a flashback with Maul? No. You know,
That is true.
because that's it still raises a really interesting conversation either way, you know. So I think it's plausible that's real, but yeah, man. I mean, what are your thoughts then overall? I mean,
I honestly want it to be real. I
Yeah,
really hope that
obviously
it's
you
real.
want it to
I think that Maul in the Ahsoka series would be sick. A flashback would be really cool. And if that was to happen, I think, it'd be cool to see lady who voiced Ahsoka in the Clone Wars to be there with Maul in this flashback.
Yeah.
And I honestly do think that they could spare one episode as a flashback. 'Cause I think it would actually make the show, it would add to the show,
yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, dude, I agree. I think that the whole thing it looks good, man. I think Ahsoka comes Q1 of next year. We'll find out at Celebration. I think I bet you, and even if that guy's right, that it doesn't start filming for another couple weeks, they could be filming the scene in secret, and that might be why the schedule doesn't start, or the official schedule doesn't start for another couple weeks. They might be trying to keep this a secret, and obviously maybe
this also could be maybe they start the episode with this flashback, and they could just be filming
Maybe.
this episode in secret. Who knows?
Yeah, it's possible they could start the whole series with it, and it'd be interesting. But I'm excited to see the show. Regardless, I think that this is going to be one of the best shows they put out. I have faith in it, like real immense faith. So yeah, the other thing I would point out though is you would think you would have seen Dave Filoni in the picture if it was real, because I think he is directing the whole show, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. We'll find out more at Celebration, I'm sure, which I'm super stoked for Celebration, by the way.
Same.
We're going to have a lot of cool news to talk about, a lot of good announcements, which Jose and I are definitely going to try to stay on top of as it goes through the week. So, one way or the other, we'll be here on the day, that it happens, talking about all the things that come out. So, it'll be fun. It'll be great. Yeah, man, look, the last thing on the docket is, this graphic novel here. So we have Vader Down. This is going to contains Vader Down, the one issue that they put out of Vader Down, and then they also have Star Wars 13 through 15, 13 through 14, and Darth Vader 2015 13 through 15, and so look, I really like this graphic novel a lot. I remember reading it and just really loving it. I thought it was really cool to kind of cross over the two lines of comics that they were going on at the time in canon. Obviously still canon till this day, and it's a cool continuation of the story. It's kind of brings everything together in a really cool way, and I really liked the usage of Dr. Aphra, especially in this one. I think that she continues to be such a good character. Her two droids are great, and this was written by a lot of people, if I'm not mistaken. We have like a lot of writers on this. Let me get to the credits here. I'm so sorry. Written by Jason Aaron and Kieran Gillen, and as we mentioned last week, Salvador LaRocca's art continues to be the best art in the whole thing. I love his art for Vader. I think
as he's going to be doing the new Chrysanthemum comic as well.
Yeah.
So.
And the artist is different, I believe, than the last time we read one of Jason Aaron's Star Wars comics. They actually got a different artist, and it actually looks better. Mike Diodato is actually doing the art for the Star Wars comics and the graphic novel. So the Star Wars 2015 line, now they switched over, which maybe they took your criticisms to heart there, Jose, on the original artist they had for the 2015 line. because
Look,
I think the whole book is beautiful, and I loved a lot of the stuff we got.
I was
in it.
gonna say I actually really liked this one a lot more than, like you said, like
Yeah.
the original one. I really did, and I'm glad that they took that to heart because they really did improve, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed this Vader Down. Honestly, it was. I had to go back and forth a lot because I wanted to read it in the exact order, so I had to go from Vader Down, from Vader Down to Star Wars to Darth Vader, back to like back and forth. So I mean, that part was kind of tedious, but
Yeah, sure.
I actually did really enjoy reading it in the order that it's supposed to be in, and the graphics, of again, I really like the drawings and all the stuffs from this comic, and I really enjoyed reading it. Like you said, the Dr. Aphra stuff was great. Her two droids, the Han and Leia stuff is great. Chewbacca as well.
No, we get Chewie and Chrysanthemum in this now, which was a
Exactly.
really cool fight to watch.
And the Darth Vader, Luke stuff again, also really cool. The
it plays well.
Jedi Temple was sick, by the way. That
Yeah,
was also really sick.
yeah. I like the more that we're getting into this, we're really starting to piece together the in between time of New Hope and Empire. I really like that. It's nice to have these little gaps filled in because the movies, they take place at least a year apart. And I don't know if a lot of people realize that, but it's just so cool to see these gaps really start to get filled. But yeah, dude, I mean, I like the stuff with Luke in the X-Wing. I thought that space battle just really played nicely, and just like, yeah, Vader's on the hunt, man. He's going to the rebel base on Var Vataco or something like that. And
Vertus Vaz?
Vertus Vaz. Vertus Vaz. That's exactly what it is. And it's a really it's cool to see that they did have another base before Hoth. So I do enjoy kind of looking at that too a little bit in this and seeing a lot of that stuff. So yeah, definitely. But the comedy with the two droids, man, it does carry the story a lot. Like those two are just sarcastic as fuck, and I love the way they talk with Aphra and just all that kind of stuff. And Aphra again, really just not really giving a fuck, but maybe even kind of getting a wake up call. Like this is one of the first times I think we really see Aphra kind of start to not really take the side of the good side, but she's really in the middle now. Like I feel like we're really starting to see the gray area in this character a lot more. She's definitely like, while she's badass enough or has enough cojones to really kind of talk back to Vader as we'd seen before and not really care. She also has the side to her that, I don't think really knows her place yet, in this fight and is kind of trying to navigate through that. I think that we're getting a lot of that revealed in this graphic novel as well, and I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. But did you think because you said the crossover was tedious, on one hand, to try to navigate through which comics you were going to do, but on the other hand, to see it all kind of come together, I mean, did you think that worked out really well? And
100, yeah. Like I said, I'm glad that I read it, going back and forth like that in the actual order, part 1 to 6, because it did make it come all together, as a story. And if I would have done, the Vader Down and then the Star Wars ones and then the Vader ones, it would have been a whole jumble of a mess. So I actually, it was tedious, but it was worth, reading in that order because it was just a gelled story together,
Yeah. And now I'll ask you too, because now we're in such a different spot than we were earlier. Where when we first started this up, you obviously weren't as enthusiastic because we started with those first 12 Star Wars issues, the Star Wars 2015 issues to be exact. And so now that we're continuing on in the story, where are you at with it now? Is this something
I'm
oh my gosh,
invested
in now?
100%. I'm super invested. I'm liking every single bit of every single, from the first 12 Darth Vaders you made me read to what I'm reading now. I am enjoying it so much more. It's some great stuff. The drawings for these comics are incredible. The dialogue and all the characters and stuff. Yeah, it's some great stuff, man. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm thrilled to hear it, because for me, it was kind of the same thing. By the time I hit Vader Down, I was like, okay, this is actually really good stuff. This is really starting to fill in those gaps between New Hope and Empire for me, this, 100%. It's starting to feel necessary, and I really enjoy that. And, I know, again, I kind of keep talking about it, but I really think it's some of the best stuff you'll read in the comics, because some of the next stuff that we get to is going to be really diving into those journals of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I think that's going to be really fun for us to do to prep for Obi-Wan and get a lot of that backstory. So I'm definitely more excited for the coming weeks because of that, but Vader Down as a whole graphic novel, as a crossover event, it is worth picking up if you are a Star Wars fan. I'm telling you, and it really
I'm gonna
is.
have to. I'm gonna have to pick that one up. You know, I'm gonna have to pick that one up.
A singular story crossover event of all these different comic lines that were going on in 2015. It was pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool to read through it and just dive in. I do love Chewie and Chrysanthemum though. I'm a sucker for Black Chrysanthemum, so anytime you want to give me more of that, that's always fun, man. And Dr. Aphra obviously just becoming such a highlight throughout the storyline, and just, you know, wanting to know where she goes is kind of a cool thing to kind of navigate back through again for me, because it's been a long time since, you know, I've done these. It's, you know, these are 2015 comics, you know, back when Force Awakens is coming out. It's kind of putting me back in, you know, it's kind of putting me back into this excited Star Wars fan mode between this and the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, man. I'm getting back, you know, and Obi-Wan's coming, and it's cool, man. This is a really good time to be a fan, you know. It really is. And I'm telling you guys, start getting into some of these 2015 comics. It will help you prep for, you know, some things to come up here, and yeah, it'll just definitely put you in this nostalgic place. I think they did a really good job on this. This is some of the better canon stuff that was put out, and yeah, definitely excited to, you know, do what we do next. So we'll probably next week, what we'll do is we'll probably finish up Vader 2015. We have 12 issues left in that series, so we'll probably finish those up, and then we'll continue on with the Star Wars 2015 line, just to, you know, put us right in line for prepping with Obi-Wan. So I think that'll be really good stuff. But hey, man, thanks for joining again.
Of course,
thanks for reading with me, and it's been fun to read along with these with you a lot. And yeah,
I'm having a lot of fun with these recently, for sure.
Yeah, they're getting better. The story's getting better. It's heating
100%.
up, and once we get around
100%.
to the Obi-Wan stuff, I think you're gonna be right back on board, because it's like, yeah, it's good. But we do have to finish the Vader 2015 line next week. 12 issues left, so we'll do that, and then we'll get right into the Star Wars 2015 and try to wrap that up. But yeah, guys, look, I've been Don Martino, and it's been a lot of fun talking to you guys about Star Wars and talking with Jose here about Star Wars. Jose, before we go, where can people find you?
You can find me on all socials at Type on Latino, all lowercase, all together, and on stereo.
All right, you guys can find me, as always, on Twitter at Dom_Martino_, and on Instagram, Dom_Martino_official. And if you guys haven't done so already, please follow the Twitter and Instagram pages, Anorex Official, on both platforms. Head over to Spotify. We do put Imperial Order over there on the Anorex Entertainment feed, so make sure you check that out, along with Movie Mornings. That's our other podcast we do. If you guys are into more than Star Wars in the movie world, check it out. We do talk about a plethora of different things, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So, and I've also been trying to put some short form stuff here on the channel, doing some more trailer reactions and getting more into that, getting into the groove. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. It's been a lot of fun. I've been Don Martino. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit the bell for notifications, and check out everything Jose is doing as well. So yeah, guys, we're going to take off. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys later.